Okay, so before we look at it, if you want to record this too, um, she was telling us something that is very important that many ladies have been telling us in all this tour in Mexico and US, in all Latin America, and it's something that is happening a lot. It's happening for two reasons, for ignorance and for abuse. Yeah? Now, it's very important to not be totally touchy, guys, gentlemen, okay? But when we go to other places in Latin America, it happens on the other side too. It happened for ladies. There's many stories that we heard that the artist is kind of drunk, and the lady says like next to friend of ours like, he's drunk, touch his butt, he's not gonna realize we did it. It's happening a lot. It's happening a lot. So it's from both sides, okay? So I don't want to blame just men here in this situation in this room. It's happening with both sides. I want to be clear on this, okay? Now, about gentlemen, because we live all these kind of things. When we do a cross ballet, we always recommend to put the hand here because it's functional for some situations, but also it's functional to not go to some parts that could be uncomfortable for ladies, like here, or like here, which can be totally uncomfortable. Some people, some gentlemen cannot realize about that, but some others, they do it on purpose. So for those people that do it on purpose, stop doing it. It's not nice. Maybe it worked with some ladies that in that moment they want it. It doesn't mean that every lady will want it all the time. Okay? Now I'm gonna touch a little bit this topic, very purposeful. Guys, if you have this monogamy relationship in your life with many partners, talking about sexual relationships and the dance, but it's happening. It's something that happens a lot. Okay? Polygamy. Yeah, exactly. Polygamy. No, monogamy. Sorry, my bad. So, if you do it a lot and very often, it's because you are lucky. No, lucky. Lucky, right? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because talking about hormonal situation, maybe that was a moment when the lady was in a hormonal situation that she really wanted, but it's not because you're really good in that, okay? It's a fact, okay? I'm telling you because I used to be like that, honestly, I used to be like that, and many of my friends used to be like that, like, I'm so good in that. And it's not like that.
Pick up.
Yeah, pick up.
I don't know what you
The fact is that the ladies are choosing all the time, okay? It's not because we're good picking up, okay? So, if you think that be very touching in the dance floor and you're gonna pick up something with the ladies, it's not always like that. It's not gonna be like that with everybody. So try to be a little bit more gentleman and more discreet. Okay? And let that happen. Don't force it. Don't look for that. Try to be a little bit more romantic if you want something like that. Okay? Don't try to be so aggressive. And it's not gonna happen. If something is not gonna happen, then it's not gonna happen. Don't try to keep going. And I'm telling you this, guys, because this happens a lot.
Yeah.
Okay? Then when we do these kind of things, then this can then these things happen. And then it goes like this, and then it goes like this, and the hand still like, you see? Mm-hmm. Right? And then this other thing happened too. No, I have to do this. Watch it. Right? And it happened again. Then this one too. Boom, up, hit. You see? Yeah. And sometimes this happens a lot. And it happens. This one is the favorite of many of you. And then it goes like this. Guys think that, oh my God, I'm doing it so good. And the ladies are like, then this one too. And this one too. No, this is Hollywood, okay? It doesn't have to happen in salsa a lot. Especially artists, they hate it. They really hate it. The reason because many artists don't attend the social anymore is because gentlemen do that too. But in the other side is the same too, because when I'm dancing, the ladies also do this. Just for my arm. The ladies also do this to me all the time, and this, and this, and this, and this. And this is something that we talk with artists all the time. It's not because we are teachers. It's because people hurt our bodies. Not because they want it, it's because they don't know how to do it better, okay? So, that's why in our methodology, we use just arm here in a necessary moment, in functional moments. We don't go here. I mean, she's my wife. Of course, if I dance with her, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna be a little bit more romantic with her, but I'm not gonna be the suicide like So, try to change a little bit the chip for that, okay? Don't be very, very touchy, and also try to make it easier. So that's why the simple crossbar lick for us is like this. One, and and we don't use more than this. For an easy turn, we just do this, right? And we're used to do this. 6 and 7, 1 and 2 and 3 and 5 and 6 and 7. And we think that this is the mark or the sign to do inside turn. 6 and 7, 1 and 2. It's old school already. If we just go like this, 6 and 7, 1, she's already in this position, right?
It's if we follow our arm, okay? Because if ladies, you do this, that's it. You disconnect it from your partner, yeah?
Then we just do this. And that's it. Then we can do these kind of things. Watch it here. Watch my right arm, guys. It's going here. There's no contact. It's protection from other partner doing a cross body in this direction too. And then you do the cross and you go to shoulder blade. Okay? Make a comfortable situation. It's a comfortable conversation. It's like a hello, how are you? How are you doing? How was your day?
So not like that. That's what
Yeah? And the opposite, what we would like to do is like a hello, how are you? Like respect the space. Then if you see some sign that is clear, if she goes like a okay? Then it can happen. But guys, please try to be a little bit more open. Pay attention. Don't think that everything is gonna be the same situation. Okay? I'm not saying like to be a priest and to not do anything with the social dance, okay? Because there's sometimes when the lady also are looking for some romantic moment in the social dance, okay? It's from both sides. But guys, don't be over. Don't try to think, don't think that everything is gonna be the same. Open the eyes, think and wait for situations and also let it happen. Don't force it. Don't be hungry. Let it happen.
If you record it, post it, share it, okay? We're gonna share it.
Now, if there's something from ladies or also for guys that you want to share or talk about this same situation, because it's something that is happening a lot. Before we go to that, just to go straight to the point, like basically what we just need in this kind of methodology and cross-bar legal conversation is just this: 6, 7, 1. And this practically step.
Yeah, I wanted to say that, ladies, if you do your 6, 7 and you look somewhere and then on one you are lost, yeah, that's not gonna happen. That's why we need to listen better, yeah? Yeah? They talk better, we listen better, it's mutual commitment, yeah? We start to find this compromise. Let's go for compromise.
Now, going back to the story, this is the basic of danzón cubano. Shuk, 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 danzón cubano, like principal rhythm of Cuba. Ka, ra, ka, ka. Then they were doing the same step in danzón. Then they were doing the same in son cubano. Tuk tun, pa edu, tuk tun, pa edu, tuk tun, pa edu, edu. The communication it was like this. Tuk tun, pa edu, edu, ting, pa edu, edu, ting, pa edu, edu, ting, pa edu, edu, ting. You see? Pa edu, edu, ting, pa edu, edu, ting. Yeah? To the other side. Tuk tun, pa edu, edu, ting, pa edu. But this one is coming from what? Ting, in, yeah? Then they were applying the same in mambo around the 50s. Tan ti tan 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 ta 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 tan ta tan 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 ta tu tu. This is the way that people used to dance mambo of the 50s at the Palladium in New York because it was already different emotion, different intention. It was simple, no turn patterns. People who were doing this, it was like, oh my God, he's a badass, he's the best. Just because they were just doing a Copacabana, right? Because they were not doing a lot of turn patterns at that time, right? And they were doing this a lot. You can see Tito Rodriguez, an amazing singer, in a video on YouTube, dancing this with Mary Donay, that it was one of the best female dancers at the Palladium, and she was the Cuban Pete dance partner. So there's a video on YouTube of Tito Rodriguez, the singer, dancing with Mary Donay, like this. Okay, and it was like between bolero and bachata. It was like super, super close, and son cubano, blah, 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 like many things together. And then they were doing Latin house like around the 70s. But at the 70s also Eddie Torres was doing his mambo methodology with all these intentions. Tan 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 tan. It was like in a circle. It wasn't not strictly online. It was a diagonal. They were rotating and rotating and rotating and doing the overturn and rotating. You see, there's not a particular line. Sometimes they were drawing the line, but it wasn't a particular line, okay? But the point, like the beginning of everything, is this. If we follow this principle, your life and your problems in salsa will be totally fixed. Yeah? Because then we're going to forget about this. Okay? Of course, in one point of the story, of the history, they were doing this, and this, and this, and this. Because techniques and influence at that time. But it doesn't mean that we have to keep using them. That was like in the 70s, like more than 50 years ago. So we don't have to keep doing something that it was stipulated 50 years ago. It makes sense? Yeah? Some questions? Sure? Yeah.
How do you feel like your movement has evolved with each other and with the time? Right? I mean, together.
Well, let me think how I'm going to start this. It was, of course, my mother-in-law and her, they study history art. So they know a lot about history art, and I've been learning a lot about history art from them. And I'm just connected into salsa, right? So since I'm with her, and since I have lectures with her mom, my knowledge and my inspiration about salsa is more like, wow, I never thought I could apply all this in salsa. And I think, and I really believe that if we learn about art history, our salsa technique and our salsa dance will grow up even more. That's why salsa is still stuck, because we don't have art education. That's why many people still thinking that it's like a street dance, and it's not. It has a lot of art, it has a lot of cultures. We just not apply it as an artistic thing. We just apply it as an entertainment thing. So if we stop thinking that it's just entertainment, and we start believing that it's going to be very, very artistic, then it's going to be totally different. So my point is, one day my mother-in-law said, like, I didn't know that Picasso was married with a Russian woman, and I was like, oh, yeah, it makes sense. Because something that artistic people from Russia, especially from St. Petersburg, has, is like they are very artistic, and they know a lot about history, art, and the whole world. So everything that I talk to them with her mom and her about art, I'm like, wow. So before being with her, I was like totally lost. My perspective about salsa, it was totally opposite of what we're talking about right now. And it was exactly the same, like, I want to do crazy for parents, and just me, and just me, and just me, and just me, right? Then with her, she was like, no, look, it's not like this. Watch it. Take my glasses and watch the world exactly the way that I was watching. And I was like, wow. And it looks totally different. Because as a Latin person, I used to be like, oh, imagine she's telling me something like, you know that drinking cold water is affecting how it's going to be like as a Mexican. I'm like, yeah, It's just a simple example, but it was happening like that for many artistic things. So every time she was telling me something about movement, about interpretation, about artistic things into the salsa, I was like, yeah, right. And then she was showing me like, no, look at this, it's like this and like this. She was treating me like a patient for real. And she did a great job. Yeah. And I was like, wow, yeah, it's true. So then when I came to Mexico in this last tour, I was like, wow, I never thought that community is like this. And it's a lot of misogyny. It's a lot of sexual abuses in the community from both sides. From both sides. And especially the concept of salsa now in Latin America, it's get thrown as much as possible. So there's no this concept of education, there's no this concept about to be better at technique, about to have this conversation, about to empathize. There's no empathize. It's just like yeah, what I think is what it is. Yeah, what I do is what it is. Yeah, it's not like it could be like that too. It could be in a better way. Oh yeah, it could be in a better way, definitely. Oh yeah, let's do it. Let's learn that. So definitely my process of learning and my process of teaching and to share all this with you guys, it got much better and much more functional for both sides, for men and ladies too. Thanks to her, thanks to her mom, because they showed me a different way to see the world, okay? And especially how to empathize. How to empathize. Listen, I was talking to my friend David Cepeda. He's a professional dancer. He don't dance professional anymore, but he used to be champion and he used to be an amazing dancer. But he used to be like, he just loved to fight all the time. All the time. Every time he was traveling, he was fighting. And he was like crazy about the women all the time too. And then I saw him in China. And you know, for me, when I went to China and I was walking in the street, everybody was crushing me and there was a lot of people and I was like, hey, what the hell, hey, what the hell, hey, what? And I was fighting with everybody. And when I was making the light in the airport, everybody was getting in front of me and I was like, what the hell is happening? And I was driving myself crazy for real. And then I was talking to my friend David and I went, bro, how do you live here? And he was like, I just learned how to do it. And then another friend from China who was living in El Salvador, who speaks Spanish a lot, he said like, you know, Rodrigo, when we walk in the street and we just get hit with other people, we just imagine that we're in the sea and we just let our body go with the waves. And I was like, wow. Of course I didn't understand it at that time. But then later I was like, damn, it's true. It's about how to manage the energy, how to empathize with everybody. Many people were telling me like that people doesn't have education. And I was like, no, they just have a different education. If you go to Italy, people speak like this a lot, like, If you ask something like, hey, do you think it's gonna be, the class is gonna take more time? Rodrigo, claro. And for us in Mexico, it's like, yeah, you're stupid or what? You don't see it? So for me, the first time in Italy was like, what the hell? And I wanted to fight with everybody, and then I learned how to empathize. So this is something that I learned with her and with her mom, and it's something that I need that I think the whole world needed to learn how to empathize and how to apply that energy also with everybody instead of thinking that everything has to be like the way that we know how to do it. So how we apply this in the same topic of partner work, because if we still doing the jobs like this and like this and like this and do it like people used to do it in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, then we're not gonna empathize. We're just gonna still do the same that people were doing before, that it wasn't functional at that time, but we can make it better. And we're not gonna people.